Here we go, ladies and gentlemen. Let's begin. Yes, there's shelf paper. Here we go, ladies and gentlemen. So let's talk. Of course, we talked about today how every single person needs to have 3 pencils, 3 pens. Okay, for your pencils, no mechanical. You need to have blue or black ink. You need to eat a real breakfast. Protein, fat, carbs. You need to have 2 snacks and water, 1 sugar and 1 healthy. On Thursday, you need to be on campus at 7:10 a.m. You're either going to be in Bennett's room or in Ren's room, and I will tell you officially tonight. At 7:30, you will be in the gym. And at 8 a.m., you will be testing. Keep in mind, doors close early. So if you are not there, you will not be allowed entry. So please keep that in mind. Okay. Let's talk essays and multiple choice. Raise your hand if the thing you wrote on your do now today was a concern on the multiple choice. If your weakest area is multiple choice, that's content knowledge. That is doing your review packets. Is everyone clear on that? If you haven't gotten your review packet, okay, those are from second, they're here. You should be going through your review packets and looking at your weakest areas. Is everyone clear on that? If you are stressed out about your multiple choice, that is what you really need to be doing, is going through and highlighting and annotating your review packet. Raise your hand if you're the most stressed out about SAQs. LEQs. No one should be. Really? Why?
I don't know, just like sometimes. I
That's
like,
what wakes you up in the middle of the night, is the LEQs?
Well, I mean, it's like a little bit of a tie between SAQs and LEQs.
Okay. But you're okay with the DBQ?
I'm more okay.
Okay. Raise your hand if you hate the DBQ. There you go. All right. I'm right there with you. Okay, so let's talk essays. If you are more concerned about essays, tonight, what I would be focused on is the essays. Now, the best way for you to study for the essays is to look at your mock exams. That's why you have them. Okay? You should be looking at what you wrote and what I scored and how you rewrote it. Yes? Making comparisons, talking format. So let's talk format, essays. So when we talk essays, you need to be looking at your mock exam, okay? SAQs are first. Hopefully you remember that the mock exam, your SAQs went by super fast. Can we agree? You have 40 minutes to write 3 essays. You were given a total of 4 essays, and you get to write 3 of them. Okay, so you get to choose about question 3 or 4. And tomorrow we're going to look at an actual released exam and kind of talk about the formatting, kind of stuff like that, and the little nuts and bolts component of it. When you do an SAQ, you should be able to answer it in 3 sentences. You have to rewrite the prompt and answer the question. If you look at your mock exam, this should be very clear, especially from the rewrites. That is 1 sentence. You have to have outside evidence and explain that outside evidence. You can't just throw Thomas Jefferson on the paper. You have to say Thomas Jefferson, the creator of the Declaration of Independence, who will lay the foundation for the Constitution, all that. That's the outside evidence and explain, and that's 1 sentence. And then you have to tie it back to the prompt. Guess what you guys are really bad at? Yeah, you're really bad at tying it back to the prompt because you guys get really stressed out and you just start throwing like word vomit on the page. Don't do word vomit. 3 sentences. Rewrite the prompt, answer the question 1. Outside evidence, explain it. That's sentence 2. Then tie it back to the prompt. How does talking about Thomas Jefferson answer the question about the prompt? That's all it is. Any questions on your format of the SAQs? Hopefully, if you did a poor job on the on the mock exam, you will be taking the time that hopefully you took the time and rewrote them, and you have something really positive to look at, following the format, doing things. Yes, George.
I just have a comment to make.
because they hate you. I don't know what you want me to tell you.
Oh,
Wait, we have 20
yes.
minutes.
Yeah. No, it's because AP hates you and makes it harder than it has to be. And it's because of the timing. Why? I don't know. Okay. Leq and Dbq. Leq and Dbq. For both of these, you have to have a contextualization and a thesis. When you talk about contextualization, it's a worldwide event. It's a worldwide trade, like the transatlantic, Indian Ocean Basin, Silk Road, or African trade routes. World War I and World War II can be justified for some things, okay? And you need to include 2 vocab terms. Two. So, if the question is about economic boom in the 1900s, wonderful things you could do would be new technology, like, you better take that earbud out, Amit. Earbud out. Rude as hell. You could talk about your stupid refrigerated cars you people love talking about. You could talk about jet airplanes. You could talk about your massive tankers. All of those things would be considered your vocab term or your outside evidence. Okay? So, contextualization is big picture. Then you have thesis. When you do a thesis, you have to restate the prompt. In an Leq, you only have 2 groups. Because there's only 2 groups, there's only 2 body paragraphs. In your 2 body paragraphs, you should have 2 pieces of outside evidence, minimum 1 for the Leq. Okay? I would always suggest 2, but 1 is bad. 1 could do it. For the Dbq,
2 pieces on each.
for each paragraph, yeah, for the Leq. Think about it. If you say Thomas Jefferson was the writer of the Declaration and impactful in the Constitution, you just did 3. You know what I mean? Like, kind of piggyback. We've tied things to each other. You know what I mean? Just getting stuff done. I'm not asking you to come up with 2 opposing views or, like, really dynamic components, but, like, string a couple thoughts together. Okay. For the Dbq, you have 3 groups, which means you have 3 content paragraphs. In these 3 content paragraphs, you need to have 1 piece of outside evidence, and you need to use all of the docs. You're using the docs, all of them, because you're not very good at analysis. Can we agree? And I'm saying that to every single person in the room. Because it is a skill you haven't really evolved to. When you get to your senior year of high school, you will master it and you will be good at it. Next year, you're going to see a huge improvement. This year, you're not going to do so well on it, but we can get all the outside evidence points and we can stumble into them, so it's not a big deal. You can still get a 5 without having all of your analysis done. Remember, we don't have to be perfect. We just have to beat the average kid. Drew, do you have a question? What? Outside evidence. Okay, so when we're talking about the Dbq, you're doing all the documents because you're going to get some of your analysis wrong. So that way you at least have a backup. Every paragraph, you need at least 1 piece of outside evidence. Okay, and you need to tie it back. Let's talk my board here. So on Thursday, you're going to see me at 7:10. We're going to do a cute little pump-up session. It's the cutest little, corniest video ever. And then you're going to walk in as a nice group all the way over to your exam. And you're going to go in. They're going to start yelling at you to put your cell phone, turn it off, put it in your backpack, and put it in the back corner. You are not allowed to go to your bag again until the end of the exam. So you need to have your snacks and your water out of your backpack. You won't be able to go back. Have your little pencil pouch with all of your 3 pens, 3 pencils, all of that stuff. You need to have all of that with you. You cannot go back to your backpack. You're going to see sitting in your chair for about probably 40 minutes by the time they actually start the exam. You will have 55 minutes to answer 55 questions. And because we've worked really hard on this, you should have a couple minutes at the end. Should you put your head down and relax? No, you shouldn't. The reason is because you have one day to prove you know something. That's it. If you show up on the 12th and you don't produce, you did not earn the credit. So use your time efficiently. It's one day. You can focus on it, and then you can go live your life or go cry in a shower, whatever you are into. Okay? So you're going to go all the way. As you are reading through the questions, if there's a stimulus that's really hard, I would fold the page in the test book. Is everyone clear on that? So when you get to the end and you have a couple minutes because we've really worked on timing, then go back to that specific stimulus. Is everyone clear? No one, you're only 55 minutes into the actual exam. Don't you dare put your head down. Okay. From the multiple choice to the SAQ, it's the quickest time. It's only about a 5-minute transition. Everything else is going to take forever. The transition will be very quick. Why? Because they hand you the multiple choice and the SAQs at the first, before the test begins. So all you have to do is put the multiple choice on the floor and pick up the SAQs, and once everyone has that going, they begin. It's less than a 5-minute transition. It's the fastest. So you're going from 55 minutes, you have about a 5 minutes where you can kind of stretch and kind of like breathe, and then you're going back for 40. You have 40 minutes to write 3 SAQs, which is about 13 minutes apiece. You and I both know from the mock exam, it goes really fast. You need to be managing your time. You also need to make a decision. Am I going to plan right, managing my time through? Or am I planning all the way through and writing to the bell? Whatever you want to do, but think back to the mock. Whatever you did for the mock, was it successful? Then do it again. If it wasn't successful, don't do it. Please don't do it. And manage your damn time. Once you finish the 55 minutes for the SAQs, okay, you will then stop and they have to collect everything. This is where we're going to waste a good 25, 30 minutes, especially if your people who are proctoring are idiots. The reason why exams fall behind is because the adults in the room can't count. That's why. So if you don't have idiots, you'll be sitting there for about 25 minutes. 25 minutes. If you have idiots, you could be sitting there up to 40 minutes. Which, keep in mind, that's going to make the backside longer. So hopefully they're not idiots, because they have to collect all the SAQs and all the multiple choice, and they have to count out all the booklets and make sure the counts are the same. It takes a while. Then you're going to be dismissed outside for 10 minutes. During that 10 minutes, you need to be shoving your face with food. You need to eat the sugar first, then eat the healthy. Because as soon as you get back, it's going to be a kind of a quick start to a degree. Okay? And then you're going for an hour and 40 minutes. Okay. As soon as you get back in, you're going to be drinking water. This would be the best time to pee. Do not drink a ton of coffee or water that morning. Drink enough like normal. Go pee right before you go in if you're one of the people who pees every 20 minutes. You don't want to have to go to the bathroom during the middle of the SAQs. Can we agree? Or during the multiple choice. So manage your time. Second part is the Dbq Leq. You will have an hour and 40 minutes of unstructured time. You have to manage. There will be a little bit more downtime than you think. Can we agree? However, you have to manage your clock. As soon as they say go, actually, as soon as they walk in, I wouldn't be the first person sitting in my chair, because you're going to be in that chair for almost 2.5 hours. So don't be in a rush. Stand next to your chair until they're like, damn it, Manuela, sit down. And then you'll be like, okay. And then you sit. Okay? Soon as they say go, open it, go straight to the Dbq prompt. You should annotate that Dbq prompt for at least, like, I'm serious, a minute or two, so you understand exactly what that prompt's asking you. Then I would look at whatever free information they're giving you, if they're giving you anything for free. If there's like a little picture or diagram or whatever, figure out why they gave it to you, because they don't give away gifts for free. There's a reason why they're doing it. Figure out why they're giving you a gift, Make sure you understand what they're telling you and then begin annotating your documents. I think every single person should start with the DBQ and give yourself a hard hour and 20 minutes. At that hour and 20 minute mark, no matter where you are, walk away. You should only be annotating your DBQ for about 15, 20 minutes. 20 minutes is about 18 minutes is probably where you should be. Do not go longer because you're not going to have time to write. Should you be doing full happies on this? No. Whatever the prompt is asking you, really try to find that information in the essays. And if you think of outside evidence, write it nice and big. Because sometimes there's one thing they're referring to. Can we agree? Like if it's China, mandate of heaven they're trying to do, then write mandate of heaven really big so as you're kind of flipping through, you can see it again. Those are the types of things that you should be writing down nice and big. They're going to burn those books. You might as well really get your monies out of them. Okay? So go through and begin writing. By an hour and 20 minutes in, you need to have a hard stop. Whatever you are in the DBQ, walk away. Then begin writing the LEQ. The LEQ, you have 3 prompts. You only need to write one of them. On that one, whatever it is, you get to choose. It's going to be done by chronological. So the earliest, the middle, and then the end of content. If you like the new stuff, start at the bottom, work your way up. If you like the old stuff, start at the top. Pick one and go with it. Nothing else matters once you pick one. Is everyone clear on that? Okay? Once you get one, I would do a quick plan. You need to plan. You need to plan. You are better with a plan. If you're like, oh my God, I don't have time, I'm just going to start writing, you're going to come up with complete shit. Take the minute or two, plan it, you'll be more effective on the backside. Okay? We have been doing this, guys. You've already survived a mock. You already know what it feels like. You already have done the work. You already know. Isn't that a huge benefit? You know where you made the mistakes. You know where you need to clean up. You know where you need to focus, and that's the big deal. That's the plan. Have the other classes really talked about a strategy? Do we know? I don't know. All right. Well, we have one. Lily.
Do they give us room to plan?
Yeah, there's plenty of room to plan. Absolutely. You'll see on the booklet tomorrow. It's a really nice booklet that you get. You're just going to get it stapled in the corner from me. Sorry. And you'll see there's plenty of room on the paper that you can totally make notes and marginal comments and stuff like that, for sure. Okay? So that's what we're looking at tomorrow in class. So we're going to have a test you've never seen before. I'm going to ask you a couple. We're going to look at a stimulus, and we're going to guess what the multiple choice is, talk about the answers. We're going to look at the SAQs. Hey, if you were writing this, what would you write about? What's some outside evidence you would use to support? Those types of things. Just kind of talk big picture. Making sure we understand we have to circle what question we're answering, kind of the mechanics of the test, just to make sure we're not making stupid mistakes. Because if you make a stupid mistake, they're just going to give you a 0 because it's really easy to grade when you're giving out zeros. It's very fun. It doesn't hurt the brain. Okay? So they want to give you a 0 to a degree if you make a mistake. Because it's easy. And it's your fault, not their fault. No, you're just going to get an arbitrary score. You don't get feedback or anything like that. It's just like, oh, you're a 5. Woo! What do you got, Camacho?
When do those scores come up?
July 4th weekend. Yeah, so like the best week of the year, and you get your AP scores in the middle of it. Yeah. It's sometimes amazing, sometimes awesome. Mine's always awesome. What do you got?
So like, for like anti-globalization groups, I kind of forgot all of them.
Anti-globalization groups?
Like the CETO.
What?
Oh, I know what
What the hell?
Like,
Ah.
I'm just kind of like not good at like the newer stuff.
Well, then that would be something I would go through with your packet, since you did a nice job on your packet, and kind of annotate that stuff. Guys, keep in mind, a lot of the newest stuff, they kind of shy away from to a degree. So you don't have to know everything. You don't. Huh?
3 to 6 units. 3 to 7, I think it was.
Yeah, they typically kind of shy away from the bigger questions on that stuff. You don't have to know everything. Keep in mind, apparently, because I'm in a Facebook group with like 6,000 other AP World teachers. Yeah, he posts all the time. Yeah, he was talking about today because they're trying to have people modify and stuff like that. I'm one of like 5,000. I'm not important, but he does. He is in the group, and so is Freemanpedia, dude.
Who's the
Ben
girl?
Freeman.
She was good. Freemanpedia sucks at talking.
Yeah, he's really good at the
He needs to stay at
infographics.
his graphs, yeah.
Anyway.
He was going around circles.
The girl like told me to stay.
So, tonight, ladies and gentlemen, you have the decision. Tonight is your last night that you're actually going to retain content. So, George, if you're worried about your later stuff, then you should be really studying that tonight. Making annotations, adding to, maybe you went a little light when you were doing the notes before. Then I would be making those adjustments. Tonight is the last time you're going to retain anything. Because tomorrow night, while you're studying for an hour, and I only want you studying for an hour, you're not going to retain anything because you're just going to be kind of stressed. It's just kind of cleaning up details. Tonight, you could actually learn something. So use that time wisely to focus on something you're not good at. Okay? All right. Let's do... Yes, let's do Russia. Here we go. So yesterday, we talked about Russia and the Golden Horde. Yes? Mongols. Okay, we talked about they're the longest running Ichanate. They're a tributary state, and they're overthrown by the Romanovs. Yes? Okay, the Romanovs. You should know Ivan the Terrible or Ivan the Fourth. Okay, he gains unification by sheer force, which is why he's called Ivan the Terrible, because he is brutal. What do you got?
When did the Trans-Siberian...
That's going to happen later. We're in like 1500s at this point. Okay, so a couple of the Romanovs you need to know. We got Peter the Great of St. Petersburg. He is trying to modernize and westernize. He's the guy who does the Winter Palace in St. Petersburg. Okay, so if you're talking about legitimizing power, he's also the guy who cuts all the beards. Then you have Catherine the Great. Catherine the Great, she expands Russia to its largest territory. Okay, so she is going to expand it to its largest territory, and she also frees the serfs. How does that go? Chaos. It is chaos. Millions of people are going to die. It's a collectivization. It's a mess. Okay, so Ivan the Terrible, Peter the Great, and then you have Nicholas II. Nicholas II is important because he's the last one. He's the last. He is known for his Russo-Japanese War. How does that go? He loses, and why is that a big deal? First loss by Europeans to Asians, okay? He's also going to lose World War I. He only fights in it for 3 years, and he's getting his butt kicked with 3 million dead, okay? So, under him, the World War I loss is going to trigger the Russian Revolution. Okay, the Russian Rev. The Russian Revolution is his removal from power and implementation of provisional government. Okay, so that is his big contribution. Okay, then what is going to happen? Of course, I can't find my notes. Okay, so the Russian Revolution. Tsar Nicholas II loses power in 1918 during World War I, and a provisional government is implemented. Then you have the Bolshevik Revolution. That's when Lenin comes into power under the Bolsheviks. Okay, he overthrows a provisional government. So did Lenin overthrow Tsar Nicholas II? No, he throws over a weekend provisional government. Keep that in mind.
Provisional means like they were just there.
It's a temporary government because they're trying to figure out what to do. So Lenin comes in and overthrows, and then he's going to trigger the Russian Civil War. The Russian Civil War is the Reds versus Whites. Mensheviks are moderates, Mensheviks moderates, versus the Bolsheviks who are radicals, and it goes from 1918 to 1921, and who wins? Bolsheviks win. Okay, so when we're talking Soviet leaders, you need to know Lenin. He's the NEP, the New Economic Plan. Okay, it's bits of capitalism because his communist policies failed horribly. And he creates a communist government. He dies in 1924 and is replaced by Stalin. Well, he doesn't really replace. He's like, inserts himself. He does the 5-year plan, which actually industrializes Russia. The collectivization of it fails. Okay? Overall, though, it is successful. Overall, it is successful. Now, he is going to make Russia the top 5 strongest countries in the world, which is hella impressive. And he leads them into World War II and Cold War. Now, he gets pulled into World War II. He doesn't lead them into it, but he gets pulled into World War II, and he leads them into it. Khrushchev is another of the Soviet leaders you should know. He is strictly Cold War. He is the Russian opposition during the Cuban Missile Crisis to Kennedy. Okay, and this is the closest we go to blowing each other up is with Khrushchev, but they both back down. And then finally you have Gorbachev. Gorbachev is the final Soviet leader, and he implements glasnost, or no censorship, against criticism of the Soviets, and perestroika, which is capitalistic policies for the economy. Okay, yes.
So why does that negatively impact the USSR? Like if they
Because it just shows that their economy just completely triggers a collapse. Their Star Wars, we convince them that they should have lasers that blow up rocks and stuff, and they invest all their money into that instead of investing back into their economy, and that's what triggers the collapse of their economy. Okay, let's talk Americas. What's up? You can use Poon. Poon is involved. He can be outside evidence if it can tie it back to the prompt. But they typically stay away from super modern things, because if you're not educated enough in the modern politics, then that's it. Americas. What's some big things about the Americas? You should know the Spanish are going to conquer. Why are the Spanish coming here? They're trying to avoid who? Avoid Portugal's African ports, correct? Okay, they send Columbus east to go west. Okay, they were trying to find a new route. Why are they trying to find a new route? Because they're trying to avoid paying the Portuguese. Okay, they are going to conquer I tried, Catherine, sorry.
it's okay.
I hope you see I tried.
No, I see the effort in people.
Alright, sorry, darling.
No, I swear to God, I can't really.
My what? My Russian stuff?
No, I actually. Did you do Africa and it's Russia?
Sorry, what?
Did you do Africa and it's those?
Yeah.
And then I'm coming back. I need it.
I don't know.
Now, I feel like I just never.
Sorry, I wasn't pulling it back. I'm sorry. I thought you grabbed it. I'm sorry. I wasn't trying to, here, haha, I have it and not giving it. That was not the goal. I see. Yeah.
Thank you.
You're welcome. I would watch my video if you weren't here in class.
No, I'm gonna probably work.
34.